This generation of women grew up hearing that time is on their side forever. So focus on work, enjoy the lifestyle, find yourself, cycle through a bunch of men, try out all the different types, right? And trust that the husband and the kids chapter, that will naturally arrive on schedule. But then the mid-30s hits, the relationship they're currently in blows up, and reality walks in.
The hardest part about going through this breakup is accepting that maybe I won't have children. But I'm gonna be honest, there's also a small part of me that's a little bit relieved. I don't know if that makes sense or if anyone else feels similarly. To be honest, I have a lot of conflicting ideas on having kids. I was never someone that fantasized about having them, and while I do feel like I grew up and went through my 20s and early 30s with this idea that I would probably have them, it was always sort of more like a given rather than a choice. And now that I'm going to be turning 35 in a few weeks, it's also the symbol for women of like, oh, if I do have kids, it'll be a geriatric pregnancy, which like I understand isn't exactly how things go. And there's plenty of people that have children well into their 40s. I'm not gonna lie, it's like something I think about. And I just feel like one of the big things I'm going through with this breakup is the combination of like the different lives that I could lead and possibly giving up this very big.
You better get to it. You don't really have as much choice as you think you have. You're really only headed into one direction. Only one type of life you're going to lead. It's going to be single and childless if you don't get it together.
Important one that maybe I want and maybe I don't.
You see, you still don't even know.
I don't know. I thought I'd just put that out there if anyone else was in this situation where they felt like maybe they do want it, or at least they want the option, but they're not 100% sure. And there's also a part of them that is uncertain. Like I'm living and breathing that situation right now.
She describes herself as a woman who went through life and continues to go through life with minimal intentionality, specifically in regards to family building. And I'm not surprised. She's a woman in this time, right? Of course, that was on the back burner. Of course, that wasn't at, the front of her mind. Oh, and of course, she felt entitled enough to believe something like that would simply come to her, right? Come knocking on her door, wrapped in a box, bow tied, when she's in the mood to accept it and is not completely opposed. It's like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. Something I've always repeated to myself is that if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And it's an adage, and it's great, and it's true. And it's really dangerous to play this game that she's playing as a woman. I saw something a couple days ago, and it said that how women treat men in their 20s is how men will treat women in their 30s. If you're a single man in your 30s, it's shifting. You absolutely have the upper hand now, especially compared to the women your age. And Jennifer Lopez famously said that men under 33 are really useless. So I'm going to play this for you. So this is a video they made for, I guess, Tinder, and it was a while ago. And she's helping out this woman here, like swipe on the dating apps. And keep in mind, this woman is 29 that she's talking with.
Left on this guy. This guy.
Left. Okay, maybe he's...
No.
No.
You have a guy named Maurice.
Okay.
He's 29. Guys until they're 33 are really useless. If you store ketchup in the refrigerator, we're not going to work out.
Yeah, so that goes hand in hand with what I just said. How women treat men in their 20s is how men will treat women in their 30s. And how they ought to as well. So a woman in her mid-30s, if she's not the mother of your children yet and you want a family, then yeah, right? She's useless. And ideally for these women, by the time they're 35, they find themselves married with children, so they don't have to worry about this. But more and more women are doing the exact opposite. And so more and more women are going to find themselves in this chick's shoes. And I actually saw this tweet today. Let me pull this up. So this says, friend who cuts hair in DC just told me one of her long-term clients who was planning to propose to his girlfriend came in today and told her they broke up. She says, guess why? He wants children. She's fitness obsessed and doesn't want to mess up her body. They're both early 30s. And I want to read this comment here. So this woman says, he just realized this rather important detail. So again, a woman really, she herself has no accountabilities at the complete mercy of a man's decisions. And she, of course, has had no role to play in this. But then she replies, they apparently had lots of conversations about it, and she always said yes, but later. He realized that if he married her and she kept saying next year, they'd run out of time, and she finally told him he wasn't wrong. Finally told him. Yeah, so she kept telling him later, and he got to the point to where he realized this woman cannot give me what I want. And by the way, to go back to the first clip, no, plenty of women in their 40s are not popping out children at all. She even said well into their 40s, which is ridiculous. And it's the cope that gets pushed everywhere. And it's like, doesn't this kind of seem to be the theme with modern women? In order for them to feel compelled to do something, they have to first feel the fear of missing out on it. Like a lot of times they only want a guy when they start to feel like they can't have him. They only start wanting children when they start feeling like they can't anymore. And I guess, I'm not saying this is the case with all women, but it's a trend. And it's almost like this is what happens if you don't explicitly tell them what they should be doing, at what age, what they should be pursuing, and you instead tell them, oh, do whatever you want. You've got loads of choices and plenty of time. So yeah, go ahead. And it's just this kind of paradox of choice that seems to wreck their brains. It's almost as if the kind of exploration of options seems to be the truly exciting thing for them, not actually picking from those options. And, it's like to constantly have the ability to say that, well, I can always change my mind later. That's what they want. Later's fine. I can always change my mind. I don't actually have to stick to something. And I guess that kind of gives us a look into why they initiate divorce so frequently, but that's a different topic. But ultimately, that's what feminism promised, right? Infinite possibilities. You can have it all. No hard trade-offs. And then biology shows up and says, yeah, that's cool. Here's the deadline. And congratulations, you just became a successful product of feminism. Thanks for contributing to the depopulation. Here's your receipt, no returns. If a woman is single, childless, and upset at 35 about not having kids, that's not like a tragedy that kind of just fell on her. That is going to be the result of a chain of choices. And at the end there, she mentioned, I thought I'd put this out there if anyone else feels similarly, which is code for, tell me I'm valid. Tell me it's going to be okay. Tell me you're in the same boat. Tell me I haven't wasted time. Tell me this is normal. So she's appealing to the comment section to kind of soothe her and her anxiety, and basically help her not have to admit that her choices have consequences, and this is a big one.
And gentlemen, I'm hoping you guys can help me settle something and we can put the rumors to rest once and for all. Let me ask you something. Do men ever not pursue a woman because they are intimidated by her? Do men ever not pursue a woman because they're just too scared of how much they're going to fall in love with her? We have been fed this tale that if a man is not pursuing you and a man is not making plans with you, that's probably because he's intimidated by you. He's intimidated by your success. He's intimidated by your beauty. He's intimidated by how fancy of a lifestyle you have. And I'm just curious, is any of that true? Is any of that true? When I think what it is that women are just too scared to admit that he's just not that into you and that he just doesn't like us very much. So we try to make ourselves feel better, so we tell ourselves this little lie. But I think we sound like fucking idiots.
What do you say, guys? Do you want to answer her question for her? Do you guys not pursue a woman because you're intimidated? Do you guys ever not pursue a woman because you're scared you're going to fall in love with her? Man, women are the supreme copers. Imagine that, right? You meet a woman and then you don't hear from her anymore, and you legitimately believe it's just because she can't handle all this. It's literally how these women think. I guess it's a testament to their ability to rationalize basically anything, and their inability, or is it unwillingness, to examine whether their beliefs are actually true or not. If you've got this high-performing career woman, it's more likely to be a matter of attraction or charm, or just kind of the willingness to be around her for extended periods of time. Like, that is just not it's not a charming woman, right? Think about the type of woman who would be inclined to say, he's intimidated by me. She probably would describe herself as, strong-willed, ambitious, blunt, firm, disagreeable. She won't be walked all over. And yeah, that's exactly the type of woman who would be willing to believe her own bullshit on that. That's just not an appealing woman for a man. Not charming at all. But hey, at least this woman here can see right through the facade. But yeah, again, just imagine if men en masse were running around saying, yeah, I don't know, man, the reason it didn't work out with her is well, she must be intimidated by me. I must be too much of a man for her. They can't handle this. Oh my God. He wouldn't be able to say that to one person without being laughed out of the room. And yet when it comes to these broads, we entertain it. What a world.